Alright, it's the number 92 of my accountability to myself. I appreciate everyone's attention who watches this. So today I'm going to mention about a couple of my ideas, my thoughts, and then about my day, which was pretty weird. And yeah, I will mention about it later on. So the first thing that I want to mention about is that I would say even it's an idea that I would like to promote, that there's no good or bad, there only is. And what I mean when something happens in this life, it's basically neutral, first of all, and then our mind perceives it in a specific way, negative or positive. So for example, you have a job interview and you got rejected, and there are two sides. First side, you can say, like, this proves that I'm not enough, like I'm stupid, something else, and you can demoralize yourself. Or there's another point when you can say, all right, I got my weak parts and now I can work on them. So it's basically an opportunity to get better. And what I mean is that every day we make lots of choices, every day we make lots of decisions that somehow affect our life, even if we don't really realize it. And based on those decisions, normally we can build our mood, like how do we see our day, what happened per day, and so on. And sometimes we need to make a new decision, a unique one, in a unique situation. And when we fail, we tend to think in terms of negativity, which basically blocks our mind and doesn't allow to make further steps, because the next time you're going to try to prepare to be perfect before begin. But I guess I'm not gonna surprise anybody if I say it's impossible to get perfect. It's just impossible, because one of the quotes that I heard today and I really liked it, and this quote is by Alex Hormozy, but I heard it in another video, that imperfect action beats perfect inaction in 100 out of 100 times. So no matter how perfectly you are getting prepared, but if you don't act, it's gonna lose against the act when you haven't prepared at all. Because every action, it's basically hands-on experience, and it's most valuable, because we can explore theory, but in reality there are so many unique ways. 80 billion people on the planet, and you cannot see them through your perspective. Your perspective is only one of them. And in 99.9999, it's impossible to predict the outcome, the result. And so most likely, if you're going to try something for the first time, you're going to fail. And then it just depends how you perceive it. What's your perception? How do you see this? If you see this as an opportunity, if you see this as a sign of some of your weak parts that you can fix, then you're going to fix them and you're going to grow, because you will be one step ahead compared to yourself who didn't take any actions. And that's basically the point, to make imperfect actions to eventually get perfect result. Not like perfect, but to get at least a result, because I don't know, it just sounds incredible. Imperfect action beats perfect inaction in 100 out of 100 times. That's true. That's true, because if you are not acting, if you are thinking about your future, like in 1,000 days, the result of who you will be is basically what you've done over the past 1,000 days, not what you thought about the past 1,000 days. So you don't need to reflect on something, you don't need to think, you don't need to hold yourself. If you know that you need to do something, you just go and do this. And if you are scared of this, it's 100% just what you need to do. And there's a truth. For example, imagine you're so scared to do something, but just imagine you do this first, second, third time, and when it's 10, when it is attempt number 1,000, you won't give a fuck about this. It will be like an ordinary decision, an ordinary move. So if you won't give a fuck in 999 times, so why would you be so scared in the first time, in the second time? And that's the point. The more you try, the more you are getting adapted, and the better you are. If you want to perform on the scene, you need to go and to perform. You don't need to watch videos how to stay concentrated, how to keep your nervousness, how to cope this. You basically need audience. And then the first time you will be so nervous, second, number 5, number 10, you will be so nervous, number 50, you will be chilling, number 100, it will be an ordinary decision. So that's the point, to take imperfect actions to actually reach your potential, instead of waiting for the perfect action and staying the same person. So it's just the idea that I actually haven't thought about a lot, but it's something that I wanted to leave here because it's really important to realize. And so, yeah, now I guess I can go over my day. And by the way, the last time I called the video that I'm lost in my mind, in my thoughts, but today I realized that not everything that bad, because for example, even 2 months ago, I didn't even consider the things I consider today. I didn't even have hints and something. So even 2 months ago, I had completely another situation. And if we are going to compare it to a year ago, even 6 months ago, it's impossible to compare, all right? So I don't really necessarily need to get stressed or to get stressed because I haven't done anything yet, because everything gradually like moves, and eventually I try something and I do something. And what I mean is that today in the morning, I woke up at 8 a.m. so late, and now I want to go to sleep. It's 11:06 p.m. But anyway, I hope I will be able to fall asleep earlier today, because about 6 days in a row I sleep less than 8 hours. I shouldn't mention about my condition and desire to sleep. Like every time when I lie in my bed, I feel that I got blessed. Just it's the best feeling per day when I lie in my bed. So what I mean is that I woke up and I skipped the first lesson, and it's basically the first time for this over the past 5 months when I skipped a lesson. And I skipped it because I had online meeting. It was basically like interview. And what am I actually doing? Because I'm looking for an internship to try myself as CDR. It's a sales development representative, and it's actually a great role that may give me a lot of insights and understanding about business overall, how does work, communication with other businesses, arranging meetings, conducting this communication, and so on. And as I mentioned once, that I find it I find it wasting of time if I'm just studying and I'm not looking for another opportunities. I'm not trying anything else. So that's why I basically want to. I would like to find internship, but there's the point. Normally, it requires a bit of experience, or normally, for example, as in Belgium, it requires it requires possession of English and Dutch because everyone speaks Dutch by default here. I don't. That's why I consider studying Dutch, but I'm not gonna do this. First, I want to master my French. So then, what I was talking about? Yeah, and I had internship, and it's like the role when only English is required. And actually, I guess that not internship, interview was pretty bad, but at least it was the first one that is related to that field. And I'm glad I just gotten this experience. They said they're gonna tell me something in a couple of days because I don't know why. So it doesn't matter. And then yeah, after that I went to university. Today I was supposed to present my culture because we had a team project when we needed to investigate four cultures. I obviously presented Ukrainian culture, and like we needed to make 4 interviews with people, and I did 2 interviews, but I presented only one country. I presented only Ukrainian culture, and it was actually nice. I liked it. It was kind of chilling, and then I had French speaking exam, and it was great. It was great because even though yeah, by the way, about I know sometimes I'm so surprised by my mind. Everyone knew that we have questions that we will have during exam. There's a huge list of questions, and you could get prepared learning each of them. But me, I figured it out 30 minutes before the exam started. Why? Why everyone knew about them? But even though I didn't know about those questions, my French is good enough to just communicate. Based on that level, obviously, it's not a high level. So I answered all the questions, and the teacher even asked me in the end, like, do you live here in Ghent? Like, Ghent is a city of where people speak Dutch, and asks, or you live in Brussels? Because in Brussels people speak French, and obviously if I lived in the city when people speak French, my French would be better because I would use it on a daily basis most likely. And I said like, no, I live here, because she was surprised that I kind of speak really well. And then she asked like, probably you have you learned it previously? And I said, yeah, that's the point, that I learned it previously, that's why my French is so good. All right, after that I returned home, and I actually wasted a couple of hours, and yeah, and it's because in the morning I scheduled my day in the way that I'm supposed to study for only 1 hour 30 minutes on my own, and when I got home I had more time. So I actually wanted to try some stuff, not to try some stuff, but I have a lot of videos to watch later that might bring me some value. And I this are not video that I can watch on the background. These are not video that I can watch while eating. I literally need to take notes. I literally need to do something based on the video that I'm watching, and that's why it's gonna bring some value. All right, but I haven't started it. I was listening to the music. I was doing nothing for almost 2 hours. But then I read a book for 30 minutes, and even though I had today French exam, anyway, I studied French for 1 hour 10 minutes, because I just realized that for me it's important. I just want to know French, so I'm going to dedicate even more time. And now I want to say something more about all the stuff that I was worried about, that I have no idea what to choose, because I'm torn between all the stuff. I don't have solution yet for this stuff, but at least what I mean is that, for example, 2 months ago, I didn't even have those ideas. I didn't have ideas with internship. I didn't have ideas with having a call with a guy who has SMMA and to talk with him about the stuff to find out some more information, because even at his channel I found more information about this and I have a clearer vision what it is, and I realized that it's something that I would like to try because it's also related to communicating with companies, because the bottom line is that you just are going to bring them value by bringing them more clients through ads. And so it includes like cold callings. It's not a it's all right, it's a long story to explain. I'm not gonna go into details, but it's an interesting stuff that I would like to consider. Also, not really long ago, I started expanding my LinkedIn, and yeah, and whatever. If it happens, I will mention about it. If no, I no, because I don't really like to talk about stuff that is ongoing and when I don't know the result yet, because I'm supposed to predict something. I don't want to predict. I cannot just look into the future, and so it makes no sense basically. All right, I mean that I still haven't decided in my mind. It's chaos because I even considered the idea of expanding in social media, because all right, it's one more long topic to talk about. But what I mean is that I really have lots of ideas. I have lots of desires. I want to improve my speech. I would like to try to explain ideas that I like to talk about, my thoughts, to make it 1 minute videos to explaining them briefly, and for example post in TikTok or something. Then I would like to try to work as CDR. I would like to find internship related to my major, but I'm a first year student. Who the fuck is going to take an internship a guy who is first year student? Then what else? And then also I deal with studying languages, with studying Dutch, because if I actually want to compete in this society in Belgium, I actually need to know Dutch. But yeah, lots of ideas, lots of things I considered and I'm considering, and I guess in the sooner a couple of months it's going to eventually end up with something, to bring me something, and we will see. I will keep updated about this, but it's just something about my thoughts, and it's not like I'm not taking an action. As I mentioned today at the beginning of the video, that imperfect action beats perfect inaction in 100 out of 100 times. And in my case, for example, all right, I'm not gonna like justify myself because I know what I'm doing, and it's fine. So today I studied 1 hour 30 minutes, not a lot. Tomorrow I will try to schedule my day a bit better, because today in the morning I was really nervous about the interview I had, and then about this internship interview. So I couldn't really start studying or something before the interview, and after the interview I was also overthinking what am I going to do. And yeah, now it's 11:20 p.m. so I'm going to go to sleep. And the last time I forgot to change the video from private to public. That's why it wasn't uploaded during the night. It was uploaded only in the morning. Alright, without it being said, that's all for today. Perfect action, imperfect action beats perfect inaction in 100 out of 100 times.